I kind of just had a crazy realization about my life. And the realization is that I don't really care to really climb any sort of ladder in anything. I don't care to do any of it. I don't care to prove myself. I don't care to really do anything I don't want to do, you know? But I know that with that comes doing things you don't want to do first so you can get to that place where you can really just live your life, right? And that's what I want to do with my life. I want to be able to wake up every single day and do whatever I want and pick up whatever hobby I want to pick up and not have to worry about whether or not it pays the bills, because I set myself up financially through other investments whereby I don't have to worry about that. And that's my dream. That is my ideal life. Seriously. I've been thinking about this for a while because I guess I really want to figure my life out. And I guess who doesn't want to figure their life out, right? We're all told that we're supposed to figure our lives out. And once we attach ourselves to a career or maybe a person through marriage or whatever, then we'll finally be happy and we'll get everything we want. And, once we have the money, then we can have the stuff and we can go on all the vacations and we can show other people that we went on those vacations, and we can show other people that we have these clothes and we do this and we do that. And it seems like so much of it is for other people. It feels like so many people are living for other people. They're not even really living for themselves. I don't think that most people are truly living the lives that they want to live. I think that most people are living lives that they've been told that they should live. And they've never taken the time to actually uncover what those beliefs are and change them and do something about them and believe something differently about themselves and their capabilities. Instead, we complain about these things, say, oh, this, oh, that, and it's just such negative language. But not only that, I think a lot of people are in this vibration of shame, of guilt, of fear. And if you look on this specific, I want to say it's like a scale of sorts of consciousness. And one of the lowest feelings on that scale is fear, shame, and guilt. And if most people are walking around and they're in that vibration, no shit, that life sucks. Like, you know what I mean? And I think we're also told that if we attach ourselves to a career, or maybe we're popping on social media, or we're famous, or we have a lot of money doing something else, or we're really attractive, or we're this or that all of our problems will go away. But I just don't believe that to be true at all. And I also think that most people just want to be able to wake up and try new things and do new things. But you can't do that if you don't have the finances to support yourself. So then I think this is why we hear things like the starving artist trope, or, oh, you're working really hard in finance, for example, and you hate your life and all of your relationships have gone to shit. And it's like, there can be a balance, but I think what we're shown are these extremes, so that people kind of have these beliefs that, oh, I can't have it all. Oh, I'm going to have to suffer in some way. But it's like, why? Why do you have to suffer if you don't have to? And this is a question I'm asking myself. Why do I feel like I have to suffer? Why do I keep putting myself in these situations whereby, like, shit, I basically am suffering? Why? Why am I doing that? And I'm now seeing in the people around me that being reflected back to me through, things that they are talking through and doing. And it's making me see, like, damn, like, I really have to level up, like, essentially. I have to level up and I have to just decide something different for myself. I have to see that I am fully capable and fully powerful of doing whatever I want in my life, just like you are. But does that power scare you? Does the idea of leveling up and you being in a new arena that you're not necessarily knowing of, and you don't know if you're prepared for it, and the reality is if you weren't prepared for it, then it wouldn't be there. So then the question becomes, are you gonna accept the challenge and move forward and make the necessary changes, mostly mentally, that you have to overcome? Or are you going to allow your excuses to hinder you from accessing that level of growth that you've been saying you wanted? And the question or the answer is also, they're both up to you, right? It's like, what are you going to do about it? You know, what are you going to do about it? And I think when you think on a longer time horizon, so instead of thinking on the basis of, oh, what about like the next year, what I want to do, like next 2 years, next 3 years, maybe, you have to start thinking in decades. So what do I want my life to look like in the next 10 years? What do I want my life to look like in the next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years? Because I think it's almost less intimidating to plan that way than it is to plan on next year I want to be doing this, I want to be doing that. Because so many people have said this. I'm not the first person to say that. They'll be like, oh yeah, so you can accomplish way more in 10 years than you think you can. And this is the real quote. People overestimate what they could do in a year and underestimate what they could accomplish in a decade. So if you maybe lengthen your time horizon and start really thinking about your life in that way, things won't seem so overwhelming at the time. And I just think about this from the context of when I was 20, 21 years old. I'm 30 now. And I just wanted everything to happen so fast for me. Like, I wanted it yesterday. I wanted to move to San Francisco right then and there. So I did it, even though I didn't have a plan. And I didn't have money either. I wanted to be living this wealthy lifestyle, even though I could not afford it. I just was so wanting for things to be instant. And I don't think that is healthy. Because when you want something that's instant, you will go to lengths that could end up financially ruining you, physically ruining you, all these different things. I don't think you can be mentally ruined permanently. But I mean, I guess certain things, if you're taking certain drugs and alters the chemistry in your mind, that could happen too. But ultimately, I think we have to remember that Rome was not built in a day. It took a lot of time. In May, I went to Spain, and when I was in Barcelona, I went to go see the La Sagrada Familia. I probably just butchered that, by the way. And that is a sight. That is such a crazy structure. It is so much bigger in person than I thought it would be. Like, it is massive and it is crazy. And that thing has been under construction for over 100-something years. You know what I mean? And yet it still draws the attention. It still draws the attention of all the eyes from all the people, right? Because it's existing as itself. It's not speeding itself up. You know, this is a crazy church that is a beautiful structure, right? Like, seriously beautiful. Well, you know, it's it's under construction, but beautiful structure. And it's almost like a metaphor because it's not afraid to be seen like patching itself together or being under construction. And it's still drawing all this light. You know, it is a light in the city. So you kind of have to think about yourself in that way. And I partially heard someone say this. So this is kind of my interpretation of what they said. But essentially, you have to be okay with not being a shiny object all the time. Like you can chill and still shine. You know what I mean? You don't have to be doing the most, like wearing the most expensive things. It's your aura that speaks for itself. And I think in order to have that aura, you have to be in a really healthy place with yourself, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You have to take that time, and you have to be almost vicious when it comes to people playing with your time and people trying to get in your head, because people can only get in your head if you allow people to get in your head, you know? So you have to have boundaries all around that you enforce. It's very strict around here, okay? Because being strict with yourself is self-care. And being strict with yourself means thinking about your future, planning for your future, not allowing maybe some temporary feelings that you have about a job, about a person, about anything affect where you're going in the future. You don't want to allow your emotions to dictate what your life looks like. And I think earlier in my 20s, I would really allow my feelings to get to me and cause me to do certain things that would then put me in not the best of financial situations or friendship situations or just physical situations, you know what I mean? But I was thinking emotionally as opposed to being in a grounded place where I could become aware of maybe feelings that are coming up, but not allowing those feelings to dictate my behavior. Because when you allow your emotions to run the show, people just have to figure out which buttons to push to get you to do something that you will regret. And you cannot really trust yourself if you're that type of person either. And that's why I think I would previously self-sabotage certain things that I had going for myself, because I allowed my emotions to run the show, and it got me to do impulsive things that would then be a domino effect or create a domino effect of me kind of taking a step back again. And it's like, at what point do I want to end that cycle and move on and create a life that I am proud of, not for anyone else other than me, because I'm the one who's living my life. You're the one who's living your life. You can't be looking to other people and asking them what you should do with your life. They are only going to give you advice based on what they want to do, right? And I was just coming to this point where I'm like, I've been trying so hard to figure out a specific lane for myself when it comes to what I want to do with my life. And I think I've been thinking about it in this way because I have been taught to attach my identity to my career, to a lot of different things, right? To status. And as a result of that, it has me really thinking and kind of starting one thing, not liking it, then doing something else, and starting another thing, not liking it, and then doing something else. And I've been losing valuable time that I will not get back. And I think the better way for me personally to go about this, and maybe for you too, I don't know your situation, is instead of trying to attach myself to a specific career path and saying I have to do this for the rest of my life, I should really be thinking about how I set up myself financially so that I can do whatever I want at any point in my life, because I structured myself and made certain sacrifices monetarily initially so that later on I could, or I will, enjoy the fruits of my labor with the freedom to literally do whatever I want. And that's really the life that I want to live. Like, I don't care to actually have a specific career for the rest of my life. I care about having a fuck ton of money in the bank, where a lot of it is done on a pretty passive basis, not where I have to go and do these things like real estate or whatever. Like, I really love the idea of dividends and really setting myself up there. This is just me. This is just what I'm thinking about, right? I'm also not asking for your opinion. I'm just kind of telling you, I'm thinking out loud, okay, of what I'm thinking about. And I still will probably do real estate at some point later on, but I think I really am interested in having that mostly passive way to generate money for myself, whereby I just have to set up automations and and just make money from a job, right? And like keep leveling up in a job and thinking about the skills that I want to learn, that I want to build on every single day, and optimize for a job that way, skill set, looking for skill set and expanding skill set, versus thinking about, oh, well, I really like marketing, or I really like software engineering, or I really like this industry or that industry. Like, no, none of that really matters, I don't think. I think what matters the most is thinking about what skills you want to learn, how can you be paid to learn those skills, and constantly leveling up what you bring to the marketplace so that you can set your price, so that you can have a higher price that you can set because you have a more valuable niche set of skills, and then taking a large portion of that money, putting it into dividend yielding stocks, and then later on branching out into some other investments as well. And then having that make you money while you work, while you have, you're wanting to work, you're learning your skills, whatever, but you can get to 60, 70 and you're like a multi-billionaire, even if you're like really expanding your skill set and really making yourself super niche so that you can really put a lot of money into these things. And that's kind of where my head's at. I don't even care about being a startup founder anymore. For the longest time, okay, that was what I cared about. I cared about being a startup founder, or I cared about being famous. I cared about doing this. And it's like, who gives a shit about all of that if you're not able to live your life and do what you want to do? It doesn't make sense. And I just think all of those things, even all the fashion stuff, and hey, I'm not saying that fashion isn't cool, expressing yourself isn't cool. I recently have gotten into doing my nails, and it's so fun because it's a way for me to express myself. I love it. I'm not coming for you, okay? But I think a lot of us, we have to be honest with ourselves, okay? A lot of us, we are doing things because of how we want to be perceived by other people. And when you're doing things for that reason, your life is not yours. And you want your life to be yours. You want your life to be yours. I want my life to be mine, okay? I would hope you want your life to be yours. So, in order for your life to fully be yours, you need to set yourself up financially. And that's really just where all this keeps coming back to. I realize that I need to do that. And then I'll have the power to do whatever I want. And that's why I started on all this, okay? And I'm reading and I'm learning and I'm watching stuff about all this. And it's very empowering and I love it so much. And it's cool because now I realize that I literally don't have to pick a career. I can do whatever I want. I just need to optimize for what skills that I want to learn, what will make me a better Swiss Army knife, okay? And how can I live below my means and stack my cash in these dividend yielding stocks, and then thinking about other investments I can put my money into so that it can grow, so that I can become more powerful and eventually be a billionaire, because that would just be cool to do. To start at 30, to really get serious about my money at 30, and to then go on to become a billionaire, that is a game I want to win for that purpose only, the love of the game. That is how I'm looking at it. That is how I am looking at it. And that is so freaking cool. Oh my God. I feel really happy right now. I don't even know where I was going with this podcast, because to be honest, this is just a stream of consciousness of things that I'm thinking about, and possibly there are things that you're interested in thinking about as well. I don't know, but if you want to hear more thoughts like this, I would definitely say subscribe to the Reflection Hour. I am your host, Sydney, and I'm just living life. I really, really am living La Vida Loca, which has been quite crazy, but quite awesome. There's nothing that I regret. I used to regret things a lot, but I realized that was me in those lower emotions of shame, fear, and guilt. Okay. And I want to be in a higher vibration. I am in a higher vibration. I am excited to be alive, and I'm very grateful because all of those experiences that may have sucked at the moment, because let's be real, we know some of those moments sucked. Yeah, sure, we learned things, but they sucked. They sucked when you were going through them. But you hopefully learned something from going through them. And that was the reason why it was painful, so that you remember it, so that you hopefully don't want to go through that pain again unless you are a masochist, which in a lot of ways I think I have been. But at this point in time, I'm done with it. I'm over it. I've decided that that is not what I do anymore. And maybe you're making that decision for yourself right now. Maybe not. Maybe you need to go through some more pain. And if you do, hey, been there. And I'm sure there's still going to be times in the future that I will have been there, or I will go there. But ultimately, it's hard to say that word many times, I'm not going to lie to you. We get to decide who we are being in each moment. And is that person that you're choosing to be, that existence that you are embodying, is it one that you enjoy? Do you like your life as that being? Or would you rather be something else? And you have to ask yourself that question. And I think your emotions will tell you how you're really feeling about whatever you're doing. It will. If you're sad all the time, what are you thinking about that's making you so sad? What are you focusing on? And I actually asked someone earlier, I was like, okay, I understand that you don't like this job that you're doing, but are there aspects of it that you do like that you can focus on? And I find that it's really hard sometimes for people to do that, because they kind of just want to be in this vibration of, oh no, I'm mad, like this sucks and I don't want to do that and da 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 da. But it's like, by you thinking so negatively, you're only going to create more of that in your life, because what you focus on is what expands in your life. So if you can find even one little thing that you really like, and you focus on that one thing every day, you're going to then start to notice other things that you can be happy about. And you're just going to be expanding the good in your life, as opposed to expanding the quote unquote bad in your life that you have been focused on. And I have been guilty of doing this. But I think it's gotten to a point where I can't bear to do it anymore. And I could look at my finances and be like, oh my gosh, like I'm here and I really want to be there and I want to move out and this and that. But it's like, why don't I think about where I want to be in 10 years from now? What I want my life to look like, instead of thinking about what I want my life to look like in a year from now. Because it could look pretty great in a year from now. I think 6 months, you can really do some great things in 6 months. But I almost want to give myself a bigger vision that is more exciting, versus looking at an incremental change that I can't get super psyched about and won't necessarily keep me committed to when it gets a little rough at times, because it does. If I'm on this path to being a billionaire, right? That is not built in a day. Like, especially if I want it to be sustainable and for it to really last and be something that impacts generations from me, right? I have to think on a longer time horizon, and I can't allow myself to get emotional and allow myself to just throw away little progress because I'm like, oh, well, I wish it was this, I wish it was that. It's like, okay, well, if we're thinking 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 30 years from now, this moment in time looks like nothing. But me putting away that little bit of money today and not compounding over time is going to be a lot of something later on. So I can't be in my feelings of, oh, well, I really want that shirt right now, or I really want to go out and have that dinner at that place. I don't really need to do that all the time. Yeah, sometimes. But if you're doing that constantly all the time and you have nothing to show for the money that you have, that you earn, what was the point of you, doing everything that you did? I just want to set myself up for the future. And I've become acutely aware of that. And it is an interesting shift that I've been experiencing lately. And it definitely started when I was 29. I would say, like, as I was leaving my 20s, I was really beginning to think about stability and my daily hobbies and what I've been doing and all this stuff. And I'm like, I need to change some things. I can't be just going off of vibes. But I think the crucial aspect that I've been missing, that I've kind of floated with over the years, but I wasn't consistent because I was thinking too short term. I would buy these investments and I would have money in them. But then when I had a little inconvenience or I didn't have a job or whatever, like, I would take that money out and I would stop the growth of what I had started. And I was so happy the other day to log on to my Robinhood and see that I actually had some stocks that were just there that I guess I never took the money out. And that made me happy because I'm like, oh shit, yeah, like, that's what happens. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put money away in an investment, whatever that vehicle is for you. And you're supposed to just let it grow. Like, just literally don't touch it. Don't take it out. Only add to it to allow compound interest to help you out. And this literally goes with everything. If you eat the healthy food every day, if you're drinking the water, if you're going on the walks, if you're going to those exercise classes, you are literally putting that penny in the jar for that future version of yourself that has their mobility at an older age, that is able to do hikes at an older age, is able to, run around with the grandkids, stuff like that, doesn't have to take all these different medications. So it's just kind of about really being honest with yourself about how you're looking at your life. If you're only being focused on this moment, because yes, this moment is here and you should enjoy it and you should love it. However, what are you doing now that is going to help you later? And are there any things that you're doing now that you know are hindering where you would like to go later? And when you could be honest with yourself about that and make the necessary changes that you need to make so you can set yourself up for a better future, it is empowering because you're not so caught up in what is going on right now. Oh, that person cut me off. Oh, my boss this. Oh, it's weird this. Oh, you know what I mean? Like, you're just far more focused on where you're going and how whatever experience you're having right now is part of you getting to where you're going. Why I am in Barbados, as Neville Goddard says. I'm in Barbados already. So everything that's happening right now is getting me to Barbados. So there's really nothing for me to freak out about or for me to allow my emotions to get in my head about, right? It's just like, oh, I'm going to Barbados. So this is part of it. Whatever. How can I make the best of this right now? How can I make the best of this right now? You have to believe in your ability to create your life. The craft of your life is literally your task in life, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. So yeah, that's what I've been thinking about. Let's see. Do I have a reflection ritual? I guess I would say the reflection ritual is to write on a piece of paper, where is it that I want to go, and what would my ideal what would my ideal life look like in 30 years from now? And just play around with it, because you never know. You never know. And the fact that it's 30 years from now, your brain is automatically going to be like, oh my gosh, that's so much time. So how do I set myself up to get there in 30 years? Like what did that 30-year older me do to get there? And start walking that path. That would be my reflection ritual. Yeah. So be loyal to the craft of life and know that anything is possible if you just give yourself more time to do it. So don't be in a rush. There's no rush. And you don't have to attach yourself to a career. You can do things, but the most important thing is for you to be yourself and to set yourself up financially whereby you can do whatever you want. Duh. Because you're not looking to do things to pay the bills. You just have the bills paid because you were smart about the sacrifices that you made 30 years ago, 20 years ago, whatever it was, however many years, however many decades. So if you like this episode, like, comment, and subscribe. My name is Sydney, and I will see you all in the next one.